everyone, welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Amy. I go by Fiber Arts Amy here and on Instagram. I'm here today for Flosstube number 15. Today I am just going to be going through whips, like plans and stuff, and I'll jibber jabber on about things, I'm sure, but no like stash diving today. I'm just going to try to go through whips. I need to go to work later this afternoon or later this morning in a little while, so I'm just gonna try to get to whips today. It's gonna be mostly stitching. Might throw in like a little bit of knitting and quilting kind of stuff at the end, but otherwise it's all stitching. I do have the winner, the giveaway winner from last time. I'll get to that at the end because it's under. The name is under piles. I'm like surrounded by stuff. I hope you guys have been having some good stitchy time. Happy May. I should say today is May 6th, Friday, May 6th, 2022. My puppy is behind me, grooming herself. So it's May. I know a lot of people are doing, you know, special stuff for May. And I sort of am too. I'll talk about that, I guess, a little more at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. The first thing I'm going to show you is my Teresa Wentzler. It hasn't gotten a lot of attention since you last saw it, just a little bit. But this is Princess and the Dragon. This is the Teresa Wentzler piece that I am definitely focusing on. I would love to get it finished this year. I think that's a doable goal. We'll have to see. I'm not going to take it out of the Q-snap. Try to move the needle minder out of the way. But this is where I am right now. So I have a lot done up here as well. So the dragon's up here. I still have a lot more of the princess to do. Here's the dragon's head. And I've been working a lot in like this area. I think last time I showed you I had the castle almost done. I got a lot of the rocks and trees and stuff in the hillside done. But I've been keeping my Q-snap here and focusing mostly on this part of the dragon, but also kind of filling in some of the purples and blue-greens up here because they're some of the same shades. So I want to get back to this more. I've had a lot of, I had several weeks I didn't work on this. April was busy. Like, it was just slammed. There was all kinds of weird stuff going on. Spring break, I didn't work on it. Our spring break, my kids' spring break straddles like 2 different weeks. And like I've said so many times, this is a piece I work on when I'm alone. It's just, it's a piece, I find it difficult to work on a Teresa Wentzler when I'm being distracted. If I take the time to like count for fractionals and figure out where I'm going, and then somebody needs something and distracts me and I try to get back to it and it just takes twice as long. So I just do this when people are all out of the house. But that does limit my working on it quite a bit. But this is what I'm going to work on later this morning as well once I'm done filming Flosstube, because I haven't gotten to it yet this week and it's Friday. So this is like my last chance of the week, and I do try to work on it whenever possible, get at least 1 to 2 stitching sessions in on it per week. And I'm thrilled. I mean, I've never come even close to this far on a Teresa Wentzler before. The fact that I'm realistically thinking it might be finished this year is amazing to me. That's not something I thought would have happened. I want to mention too, so we spent time at our cabin, so I did a bunch of work on Mermaid of the Pearls from Mirabilia, and I don't have it here to show you because it stays at my cabin. I think I've mentioned this before, so, but if you want to see it, if you want to see my progress, you can go to my Instagram account, because I'm going to try to make sure I upload pictures of things that I work on at the cabin, and at some point I'm going to figure out how to put pictures in here. I just haven't done that yet. Because that did get like some really solid stitching on it, and I'm really happy with my progress on that. Okay, what else? Let's do big things. So I'm still doing Chatelaine Wednesday with Maggie, who's Kitschy Whips, and a whole lot of other people have joined us now, which is very, very exciting. It's so fun. We're using the hashtag Chatelaine Wednesday to, you know, on Wednesdays, just pull out our chatelaines and do something with them. Like for me, that means putting in some stitches. Whatever you want to do to like focus on your chatelaine, if you want to join us, do that. And if you can't join us on Wednesday, join us on a different day. The idea is just to like routinely be getting some work done on them, like giving them some love and attention. Because I, at least, like, I've had the chatelaine technically as a whip for years, and it just never got pulled out. It just almost felt like too precious to work on, kind of intimidating. It never happened until we started Chatelaine Wednesday, and I'm thrilled. Like, every single Wednesday, I'm putting stitches in on it. It's not always a lot of stitches. Wednesdays that I'm really feeling off or not into it, I've pulled it out and just put in some like whole crosses and some like relatively easy areas, you know, not like going for the 1/1, but like doing some of the easier areas. And it feels so good. It feels so good to be making progress on this. It's on these enormous scroll bars. I'm like looking through the fabric to make sure it's in the in view for you guys. But this is where I am so far. There's probably a thread hanging. There's a lot of threads hanging. I've done a lot of like whole crosses. I did some of this blue like down here. I put in, I think they're ducks. Put in this like goldish brown color for the ducks. I'm just having fun. It's these are Clay by Kim needle minders. I'm having a blast. Absolutely having a blast working on that, and just kind of relieved to actually be making some progress. I don't have like a full picture of what that one's Egypt Mandala Garden. I don't have the like pretty picture on me of what that's gonna look like. But that's fun. So I encourage any of you who have a chatelaine in your stash to maybe dive in and join us and join all the other lovely people who are working on it as well. Because it's nice to be making progress on a piece you love. Sorry, I'm reaching for stuff. So the next thing, and I'm kind of regretting, let me see if I can unscroll this, because I really want you to see her face. I'm going to unscroll her some. So I've been working on, screw this in so tightly, can't get it loosened. I've been working on Moonlight Lullaby, which will look like this. If you've seen my videos before, you know that I'm working on this. I'm turning it into a birth sampler for my daughter that I will give to my mother-in-law. This is by Mirabilia. She did a collection called Little Stitches, I believe. So this is one of those. Again, it's Moonlight Lullaby. Almost dropped it. So yeah, so my mother-in-law, just to explain why I'm doing this, I've had some questions about it. My mother has stitched birth samplers to go up for my mother-in-law to go on her walls of my older two children. But my mom never stitched one for my daughter, for my mother-in-law. That's a whole other story. So anyway, my mother-in-law asked if I would make her one. So I decided, I have to take these tension, well, I don't want to take the tension things off. We're just going to do the best we can. I decided to stitch her, oh, you're not going to see it if I don't. All right, I'm going to loosen it. I decided to stitch her because I'm me. I hate like gift stitching, especially if the person knows to expect it. I hate doing it. It's like as soon as I know it's an obligation, it's like the last thing I want to work on. So I wanted to make sure I chose something that that wouldn't feel like such a drag that I would really want to work on. So I chose, of course, a Mirabilia. So this is Moonlight Lullaby. And this is where I am so far. I'm going to save the beading and the Krynic till the end. I am probably going to pull out of my stash for that. I very well may have what's called for in my stash, though. I'm just kind of not worrying about that part yet. So there are like some empty holes where beads will go. But I'm thrilled with how this is coming along. I'm making a lot of progress. All of this in her hair is going to be beads. But I got to do back stitching. I love getting the back stitching in because then it really defines their features. You can really kind of make out more what's going on. I was able to back stitch parts of the wings. I obviously got some threads hanging because I'll need to continue back stitching as I finish filling the wings in. The page break is kind of around here somewhere, I think. So, yeah, I'm thrilled. I feel like this is going really well. I want to get this done sooner rather than later. So, again, pardon me for repeating myself. If you've seen my other videos, you'd have heard me talk about this. I'm having surgery in July, in late July, and my mother-in-law is going to be here to help with the kids just for the day while my husband's with me at the medical facility. And I'd really like to have, she doesn't live near us. None of my kids' grandparents are local. I would really like to have this done to give to my mother-in-law while she's here, like that later part of July. Which I should be capable of doing. That's, 2.5 months away. But that doesn't mean I'll make it. But I'm going to try. I'm really going to try. I mean, at one point I thought it would be nice if I got that done for her birthday, which was last week, so I didn't get to it. It's obviously not going to be done for Mother's Day, which is 2 days away. But it would be lovely if I could give it to her when she's here. And that way also I wouldn't have to mail it. I have mailed cross-stitch pieces. I've mailed them to Jill Rensel to have framed. But it's not my favorite thing to do. I'd rather not, if I can avoid it. So, and I think it would make my mother-in-law happy. She's coming up to kind of do us a favor, and I think it would make her happy to see that. She doesn't cross-stitch anymore, but she used to, and she's definitely stitch-worthy. My mother-in-law really loves handcrafts, like nice quality handcrafts. She understands, I think, and appreciates the time that goes into things. She can be very kind when you give her a gift, especially a gift that a lot of time or effort has got into. We frequently make her, handmade gifts for Christmas and birthdays and stuff. She doesn't need anything, she's not somebody that we need to get her a new toaster or, so we don't need to worry about that. So we try to make her things, and I get my kids involved whenever I can in making her things. I think that makes it more special. My kids will help cut out fabric. They helped cut out fabric for a pillow that we made her, it was a pillow. That she loved. Anyway, I'm just rambling about my mother-in-law now, but yeah, I like getting them involved, and I like making things for her. It's nice to have what you've made be appreciated, and my immediate family appreciates it plenty, but they're also very used to it. So my house is full of things I've made. It's kind of nice to make stuff for my mother-in-law sometimes. Okay, what's next? I'm surrounded. All right, let's talk about this mermaid. Okay. This is what we often call, in my house, just the red mermaid, the mermaid that shall not be named. So this is the mermaid, and if you've seen my other videos, her official name has a slur in the title. It's one that isn't as well known as some others, but still it is a slur. And so I don't like calling her by the name she was published under. So I've made a decision about what to call her, because it feels ridiculous being the one that doesn't have a name. Okay, from now on, in my household, in my reality and universe, this is now the Trinket Mermaid. And the reason I'm calling it the Trinket Mermaid is because I took that word directly from Nora Corbett's description of the mermaid on the chart. It says, a bohemian vagabond who collects trinkets and treasures from sunken ships. She is the pirate of the sea. Trinket Mermaid, I don't know, seemed to fit her for me. So from now on, you're going to hear me saying, I'm stitching on my Trinket Mermaid. Trying not to show you the chart. Oh, lost my needle minder. 1 second, which means I also lost my needle. Let me get it back. All right, almost got it back. I forget to tell you guys fabrics and things too. I'm sorry. This is my dog squeaking. Okay, why is my needle not sticking? All right, there we go. This is my Trinket Mermaid. I've got part of the medallion at the top done. This is going to be her face and her hair. The waves behind her. I do have some of her, I'm not taking her out of the Q-snap, but I do have some of her tail done down below. I do keep this one in the Q-snaps a lot, even though you really shouldn't, because it can discolor the fabric. Because I like having this one, I kind of keep it in my TV room, and I just pull it out here and there to work on. It doesn't get a lot of attention. But I did do some more of the hair, more of the coral this time when I worked on it. I just worked on it actually for an hour or two while I was Zooming with some people. And I filled in a little bit more of the medallion up here. She has medallions for north, south, or southeast and west on her. So yeah, I like her. I mean, no immediate plans to hurry up and get her done. This dragon is from, I think it's Little Agnes Needle Minders on Etsy. She's in Wales, and I like her. I like her needle minders quite a bit. So yeah. Oh, this fabric. So it's a 28 count. Almost all of my Mirabilias I stitch on 28 count. This is a 28 count. I don't know the name of the fabric, but it is from Country Stitch. If you watched my, which I think is New Zealand, maybe Australia. I want to say New Zealand. If you watched my fabric like stash dive video, I talked about Country Stitch. I love their fabrics. I know it looks a little bit like there's almost like a stripe there, but that's like the look of the whole fabric. There's just this very soft modeling throughout the whole thing. Yeah, Country Stitch's fabrics I think are amazing. I love the way they look. Typically like really soft modeling, beautiful colors, generally not a lot of excess dye that I have to rinse out. They can be pretty pricey. And because of shipping, I often, when I do place a Country Stitch order, it'll usually be for like 4 or 5 pieces of fabric. Like I don't usually just get like one. If I'm gonna go pay the shipping for it to come all the way from halfway around the world, I'll order a whole bunch at once. And then you have this really amazing package to open. Love their fabrics. What should I do next? I do have some secret stitching that I can't show you. But that's okay. Lots of stitching I can show you. So I'm working on, I'm very slow and I'm already behind. It's like, so I'm doing the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Under the Sea, like mystery stitch along. I'm already, like they've only done 2 releases and I haven't even finished the first month yet. It's so sad. I don't have like a mock-up of it. And I'm not that far along. This is another needle minder from Little Agnes Needle Minders. So this is where I am so far. I guess it's not too bad. They've only done 2 releases. The first release was like this part, and the second release is this part. So I need to finish this mermaid, and I need to finish these dolphins. And then there's some other fish and another, she's a snorkeler, I think. And this is a ray. So I'm working on this. And I'm enjoying it. This is something I pull out. I don't know if y'all's like stitching goes with your moods. Mine does. I stitch on large pieces most often when I have like a big chunk of time. Because I don't like sitting down and putting 5 stitches in on a Mirabilia. It can just be frustrating. When I'm pushing for a finish, I definitely do it, but it's not my preference. This is something I would pull out and put 5 stitches in on. It's something that I don't mind, so I try to put things away, so like the dog isn't gonna chew on it, my kids aren't gonna get mud on it. I have one child, I mean I have 3 children, but one of them, like it's like he creates his own slime out of his body. I don't know. For you other parents out there, I don't know if you go through this, but like, we call it Logan goo. Like, his name's Logan. Like, there's some sort of, it's like a mixture, I think, of like his saliva and dirt and a lot of food crumbs. He eats a lot. It's like this mixture of substances that like get cemented to every surface he touches. Like if you look at his iPad, I'm sorry, some of you don't want to be hearing this, but whatever. I'm going to about it anyway. Like if you look at his iPad, it's like streaked with his Logan goo. It's so gross. So I try not to leave like a Mirabilia out, right? Because I wouldn't want it to get destroyed by Logan goo. And I don't want this to get destroyed either, right? But this is like less precious to me. This isn't taking as much time. It's not as difficult. Frosted Pumpkin, I like your designs, but it's not like beautiful the way your Mirabilia is beautiful. So I'm not gonna like have the same reaction to like this getting that goo on. Or like my dog getting mud on it or something that I would have if it was a Mirabilia or a Teresa Wensler or something. So this is the sort of piece I'm in my stitchy chair that I will like leave on the arm of my stitchy chair and like get up and down 50 times while I'm making dinner and helping with homework and that sort of thing, and not be so worried about. So anyway, it gets work, just slowly. This is a 28 count, I think it's called Alma. It's like meant to look like linen, but it's actually cotton. From Hand Dye by Rolanda. She's on Etsy, and I love her fabrics. Very, very wash fast in my experience. And she has some really cool effects she does with them. So I'm doing this, I'm also doing a conversion with it. I'm doing it with a mixture of silks, mostly from Bestitch Me, but I also pulled out, so the last time you saw this piece, if you watched my other videos, I didn't have a good second shade of gray for the dolphins. And so I was trying to tweed like a black and a gray together, and it didn't look good. It didn't look good. I didn't like it. I put several more stitches in past where it was in my last video that I showed this in, and I did not like it. So out it came, which is very unusual for me. I don't usually do that. If I make a decision, I usually stick with it, even if it's bad. But this time, I ripped it out. I ended up deciding to I'm trying to open the Floss Away bag so I can tell you what it's called. I grabbed a water lily that I think had been used in maybe Undine. I'm using Pebbles for the, I guess it's gonna have to be focused enough. I'm using Pebbles for the dolphins, and I actually love it. I feel like it actually is a very realistic dolphin look. Like it's kind of like has like soft grayish pinks and blues in it, and I actually feel like it mimics a dolphin's skin really well. So I'm actually really thrilled with how that's turning out. But anyway, this will keep getting worked on, just here and there. You know, usually in the evenings, like on busy evenings when there's stuff going on and I want to stitch, but I know I can't really manage, you know, like a Mirabilia or something. So something else that I I really just have a very small, very kind of sad start on. I have this, it's Lindy Stitch's Mermaids Pin Book. I bought this a while ago, and I would imagine the chart's still available. I feel like it might have been like a limited edition. This came with a finishing kit. It's got, I'm not sure. You can check her website, Lindy Stitch's website, if you, sorry for the crinkle, if you want it. But it comes with Lady Dot creates shallot, velveteen, and grubby frog ribbon. What's this called? Rayon ribbon. And it looks like open. It should look like that. I'm a sucker, I've said that before, I'm a sucker for these sorts of things that, like, for smalls, I really like smalls that get finished into something. Like, they get turned into an item of some sort. I love needle books, pin cushions, all that sort of thing. So I got started on this. I just grabbed it one evening. And this was a kind of a scrap of, I think it's 36 count. I'm using whatever count it calls for in the chart because I want it to finish properly into the size that she gives the instructions for. I just got started on the tail and the skin, and also with smalls, I like to try to use my stash of various flosses and things. So I have, what are these called? House of Embroidery. I want to say they're from South Africa. I have these flosses from them. I think I'd gotten a couple groupings. Like, they're often, some of them can be sold in like groups. Like, there's like a Christmas group and a Halloween group. I had several of those little like collections that come with like 5 flosses or 6 flosses or something. I think I had Christmas and Halloween. And then I went to a quilt show last month where a vendor was also selling them, and I don't see these flosses very often. Again, it's just called House of Embroidery. And I picked up a couple other, I picked up like a spring and like, I don't know, a couple of different collections. And kind of have a decent, or I think a decent representation of lots of colors now. And so, yeah, I grabbed this and thought, I'll just use these flosses to do this. And I mean, there's some great blue-greens. Like, this is what I'm using for the tail. They do not have names. At least on my cards, they did not. Like, I bought a Christmas collection and it had reds and greens on it, but it didn't, like, give a name or a number or anything to what those shades were. So I can't, like, can't tell you, like, exactly what color they are or whatever. But, I have enough to do, you know, certain smalls. I have enough variety here to do certain smalls and certainly to do this pinky. So I'm having fun, just, you know, picking colors, and they're beautiful. I love them. They're soft. They're nice to work with. I don't know if it's a DMC base or something else. In this, the cards and the floss ring I got from Number 12 Stitch Co. on Etsy. I really like them. I've heard, I think Nikki Noodle talking about them several times, and although I think they're in Australia and I'm in the US, I went ahead and I've ordered from them a couple times. I really like the designs they have for the floss drops. I don't use floss drops for DMC typically, but I do use them for my fancy floss. And for these flosses, I really wanted to get them off the cards that they came in because I didn't want to keep them in their, like, they were on like one card. So like one card had a row of like the Christmas flosses on them, and I didn't want that. I wanted to break them up. So this was a good solution for me for those. So anyway, here's my start on my Mermaids Pin Book from Lindy Stitches. And I don't know when that'll get done. It's just one of those, again, like Under the Sea from Frosted Pumpkin, one of those like little things that I can pick up and put down very easily like no matter what's going on around me and whatnot. Okay, Fairy Idol, which I don't have a picture for because, so Fairy Idol, which many of you, if you're a Mira fan, know is out of print and typically very sought after. Fairy Idol is one that can go for an enormous amount of money on eBay and whatnot. I only have one copy of, so only. So, I keep like the picture in like my master stash, and I always forget to grab those pictures before filming. I just have a photocopy of the chart in my project bag. So this is a project bag I made myself, just out of some fabric I had from stash. So, anyway, Fairy Idol. So I started Fairy Idol on my birthday. I decided to do kind of last minute. I used the hashtag anti-procrastination sale. And I think anytime any of you are starting something that you've been putting off, or even just working on something that you have been putting off for years or months or whatever like your time scale is, you should use that hashtag anti-procrastination sale, because I want to see what projects people put off for whatever reason. I can't give you a good reason why Fairy Idol keeps getting put off. And that's all I got into her. I got some of her dress done. That's pretty good for a busy birthday for me. Yeah, I had a very busy day on my birthday. That's a pretty good amount of stitching to get in. Fairy Idol is just a piece that for me, she's one of my favorites, but she's old, right? She was, let me see if I can figure out when she was published without showing you the chart. Come on, get to the right page. Fairy Idol was published in 1996. I was 16 in 1996, and I'm 42 now. I probably bought this. I think it was one of the first pieces I bought. I probably bought it in 2004, 2005, or one of the first charts that I bought. Don't want to show you the chart. When it comes, I know for a long time I didn't start it because I did go through years of like feeling overwhelmed by memorabilia and feeling like I couldn't start it. This one is a particularly large memorabilia. But since then, I can't tell you why it hasn't gotten started, other than when I go to start a new memorabilia, I'll have options. There might be 5 memorabilias I'm looking at to start. Fairy Idol is always the runner-up. Always. So I decided we'd had enough of that, and we needed to get Fairy Idol started, because she always comes in second. So this time she got to come in first. She came in first for my birthday. So anyway, that's my very small start on Fairy Idol. Again, it's Clay by Kim Needleminder. We don't collect Clay by Kim as much as we used to, but I do have several of her Needleminders in my stash. Did you hear that crash? It wasn't a big crash, just a mountain of stitching stuff falling behind me. That's okay. There's like a couple of bins of project bags behind my stitchy chair. Just kind of keeps things out of the way. What else? Okay, so I participate, pardon me for a moment while I get a sip. I participate in Pam. She's Stitching the Land of Good Enough, and she has her own cross-stitch store. It's Stitch New England. I will try to remember to like link things. But she has a Fancy Lady Zoom group. And sorry, distracted. I think my needle kind of went through this a little bit. Oh yeah, it did. So she has a Fancy Lady Zoom meetup once a month that I participate in. And I am stitching, oh, my needle all kinds of went through. That's okay. I am actually not stitching a memorabilia for it. I don't even have the picture. Let me see if I still have the picture pulled up on my iPad. from last time I filmed. No, I don't. Okay. Sorry. I'm so unprepared today. I kind of decided last minute to try to film this before I go to work. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen until sometime next week. So I'm stitching Sleeping Beauty from Joan Elliott for this. And this is where I am so far. So this is the upper left corner. I've been stitching this in hand, but I've been stitching it in hand poke and stab. I like the way my axes look better, poke and stab. And this is like this brown is her hair. So so we've done 4, maybe, Fancy Lady Zooms, maybe 3. I think 4. I'm thrilled with this progress. Like, I'm not a fast stitcher at all. And I look at this and think like, oh, I'm rocking this out. This is going fast. But this would be my first Joan Elliott. This is as far as I've ever gotten on a Joan Elliott. I have another one that was started years ago. Only ever got a couple dozen stitches in. It still is a whip. Like, I haven't given up on it, but yeah, still a whip. I don't know when it'll get done though. I was gonna say this is a 28 count from Be Stitch Me, and I think I do have the name of it. It is called Morning Glory. Really, really like it. Such a pretty blue. I stitch on a lot of blues and greens, like gray blues and gray greens. I don't know. I can't remember if I already showed this. I can't remember. So if I showed this last time, I apologize. I also have a small start on Mirabilia's, I think it's Millennium Angel. Yes, Millennium Angel. This one, which I started fully because Lisa at Cross by Floss is working on it, and it's just so beautiful. And of course I have it in my stash. And so one day I was like, oh, heck, I'm just doing it. I don't even know which way is up. This is on, it's probably this way because of where my needle is. This is on Through the Stones by Be Stitch Me, 28 count, which is like a greenish shade. It's stitched on blue in the cover photo, and I've seen a lot of people stitch it on blue. And honestly, I just wanted to do something different. I just wanted to do something different and see what it would look like. I feel like Through the Stones gives like a very natural look. Sorry, I should probably move that. Like a garden kind of background. Just want to see how that turns out. No immediate plans to put a ton of work into it, but I really enjoyed starting it. All right. This is Elizabeth. I'm doing great on time. This is gonna be a short one. Sorry for those of you who like really long ones. This one's gonna be relatively short. So this, well, I say that. I'm not done yet. I shouldn't say that because who knows how much longer I'm gonna talk. So this is Elizabeth from Mirabilia. This is the one, if you see my other floss tubes, you might know this is the one that I am practicing sewing method with. And I am definitely getting more comfortable with sewing method. I was actually working on this yesterday. I had to wait in the car for a little while. Look at all those wrinkles. I had to wait in the car for a little while for my kids. So I had this with me. So I have jumped all around. So this is the bottom. This is the bottom of her skirt and just different parts of her skirt going up, and then this is the top of the dress, and this here, what I was working on, is like the scroll top of the chair up here that she's leaning on. I've just been jumping around, and I was jumping around to practice to see what my stitches would like going top to bottom versus bottom to top, and then just in part jumping around because of what colors I feel like stitching. I don't mind counting things that far apart. It's very rare that I experience a problem. I do count and recount to double check myself. I think red is the only memorabilia that I've gotten myself into trouble. And on red, I wasn't even counting that far. And I messed it up. But yeah, this brown is what I was, for the chair, was what I was working on yesterday when I was waiting for my kids. And I've been really, I want to pick this up more. I've been really I enjoy like the process of stitching using the sewing method, even though I don't like how my X's look quite as much. I feel like sorry for the ding, they look better than they used to. They've definitely gotten better over time. And I enjoy the process of, not that I don't enjoy the process of stitching with poke and stab, but I definitely will get in the mood to stitch using the sewing method. So I'd like to pick that up more often. I brought it down here. It's been living in my room, so it's more likely to get more love. Something else I got just a little bit of work in on is Magic Owl. This was a kit from Riolis. And this is one of the kits using the wool and acrylic floss. Okay, so let's talk about floss. So I have right here, I have these. So these are the Gentle Art Simply Wool flosses. I don't have all of the colors, but I have some of them. And I've been using these for the last couple of weeks on a secret stitch and really enjoying it. I really enjoying using these. They are, yeah, it's a wool blend. I'm reading to see how much. So most wool, you can get 100% wool threads out there. Not necessarily embroidery threads. Well, you can use them for decorative stitches. Most wool flosses are wool and acrylic blends. And they're fuzzy. I mean, they're wool, right? I'm not gonna be able to show you how fuzzy they are, I don't think. I can try. Nah. That's not gonna focus real well. But they're fuzzy. And they're thicker than like a DMC. So I've been stitching using these on, I think, a 32 count, and I'm just using one strand, and it's like fabulous coverage. It's not sparse at all. And I'm enjoying it. Now, I'm sorry, this is such a tease. The secret stitch that I'm doing with this is a small. It's like a small, kind of more primitive looking thing. So I'm really enjoying using these. I like the feel of them. They're very soft. I know some people hear wool and they immediately think scratchy. A lot of wool is not scratchy at all. Maybe even most wool isn't scratchy at all. I know you knitters out there and a lot of crocheters, if you work with wool, will know that. I find a lot of crocheters tend to work with acrylic and cotton, and not wool so much. But, sorry, I just got a text. Okay, it was an important one, so I was actually distracted by it. Anyway, don't get scared away by wool. If you're just like, oh, but isn't wool scratchy? Don't get scared away. So I love these Gentle Art threads. I would absolutely recommend them. I just bought what I thought would be like a good, because you know I love sampling new things or different things, new to me products. I bought just a sampling of colors off of 123 Stitch, trying to get, you know, a good range of colors so that I could sub them into doing some smalls. So that's what I'm doing, and I love them. But this comes with wool acrylic blend flosses, and I don't love it. It's fine. It's good enough for, you know, I'll finish it. I'll definitely finish it. They are soft. I suspect you can see how fuzzy these are here. I think they're fuzzier than the Gentle Art flosses. So the Gentle Art flosses, you definitely like, I'm using shorter lengths with them because they can get a little beat up being dragged through the fabric too many times. So I'm using some shorter lengths. These, like I said, I think there's probably a higher acrylic content. I'm just saying that by like how it feels to me. They feel rougher. They feel more plasticky to me than the Gentle Art flosses. And these do fuzz up a ton. The more you use, like the more you drag them through, I think the problem's worse than with the Gentle Art. These are also, I think, a bit thinner than the Gentle Art threads. I'm not loving using them. There's a lot of beautiful Riolis kits that I would love to get, and I've been avoiding getting them because I wasn't sure about this whole wool acrylic blend floss thing, and if I really wanted to go there. I finally decided to get this one because, I mean, that's Hedwig, right? Like, that's Hedwig. That's Hedwig and a snitch. It's not called that, but that's obviously what that is. That's Harry Potter right there. And my daughter in particular is a huge Harry Potter fan. So I decided I'd get this one and try it out. And I will finish this eventually. It doesn't get a lot of work. It's on Aida, and the Aida shows through in a lot of it. So I know I could have switched out the fabric. I didn't want to go to that trouble, and I don't mind stitching on Aida. So yeah, I can't say I recommend it. I mean, you do what you want. You might love it. I don't know, but I'm not loving it. So I'm kind of sad to say I will probably avoid buying any more kits that have the wool threads. I just don't love them. They're kind of annoying to work with. If I can get this back in the bag. Okay, I think last whip to show. And I have threads hanging all over the place on this one. I apologize. I'm also not going to take it out of the Q-snap. Get myself organized here. So this is, so my plans for May were to work on a different Mirabilia each week and get like a ton of work in. Let me find something to put behind this. On those Mirabilias. I think those plans have changed. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the first one I was planning on working on was Damask Roses. And I do have a bunch of her skirt done down here. Not a lot, but, you know, a significant bit. I've been working, though, up here in what's kind of visible on my Q-snap here, and I'm in love. Look at that face. She's stunning. I love getting the face done and like when you backstitch it, like all of the detail comes out and you can really see her, and I just love that. I still have a little more of the hair down here to do, still obviously neck and skin, but yeah, I've just been picking colors and kind of filling in on this part of her, and I'm absolutely in love with her. And that is part of the reason why I think I'm changing my Mermaid plans. I was going to work on this for a week. I was going to be working on Fairy Moon for a week, and I was going to start Queen of Peace for a week, and I was going to start Garden Verses for a week. Now, you guys know me. If you've watched my videos, you know me well enough to know that I still might start those Mirabilias at any time just because I feel like it. Like, I might start one just because it's a Tuesday, right? I might start two of them because it's a Tuesday. Who knows? But what I really want to do, at least for the month of May and potentially longer, is focus. I really want to focus on Damask Roses, and Moonlight Lullaby. I would love it if I could get these 2 pieces done before my surgery. Definitely want to get Moonlight Lullaby done before my surgery, and I'd like to get Damask Roses like as close as possible. I don't know how doable that is. I'll still be working on Teresa Wentzler, on my Teresa Wentzler piece. I'll still be doing Chatelaine Wednesday. What else? I'll still be working on smalls, like those evenings and stuff where I've got smalls. Plus, you know, I do other crafts. Like, I'll still be quilting and knitting and doing some other things. But as far as stitching time goes, I would like to just really focus on these 2 ladies, the Moonlight Lullaby and Damask Roses, and try to get these closer to a finish. This has been a whip for me for more than a dozen years. I started her in 2008. I took her with me on a trip to Greece, like Athens, Greece, the country. Yeah, I started her on a vacation more than a decade ago, and she's still not done. She's not my oldest whip by any means, but I just like feel like it's time for her, and I do that. Like sometimes I'm in the mood to start a lot of things. Sometimes I'm in the mood to just kind of pick up whatever I want and just kind of make some progress. And sometimes I get in the mood to like bring some things into the finish and work hard on them. Usually I'm kind of closer to a finish when that mood strikes, but I feel like I'm kind of in that mood right now. I don't know how long the mood will last, but for right now I'm going to lean into it. And for the rest of May, at least as long as Mirabilia stitching goes, I'm going to focus on Damask Roses and Moonlight Lullaby. Of course I might change my mind, but at this point I don't want to change my mind. I really want to get a ton of work in on these 2 ladies. And she's pretty easy to pick up and put down, especially, so most of the confetti is like up here. She also has some like rose bush tree things over here, kind of like topiary looking things. That'll have confetti. This is the start of one. They'll have confetti in the roses and the leaves. But like her dress is very block color stitching as you go down. So I've done kind of a lot of the hardest part. The skin is tricky. It's blended very well, but it's hard for me to tell some of the shades apart. So I do have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Sorry, more texts. Yeah. Anyway, I'm enjoying her a lot. She's just beautiful. And now that I have her face done, I just love her even more. This is stitched on a Wishel, like, I think just natural linen, a 28 count, that I bought in a big box store years and years and years ago. Before, like, I did a lot of hand dyes and things. So this project's been hanging around for a while. I think that's all of my whips that I want to show you. Pardon me for a moment. I don't want to forget. Sometimes I forget. Okay, the winner of Snapdragon from the last video is Bev Jaros. Bev Jaros. Bev, I'm going to try to remember to comment on your comment. Please either email me at fiberartsamy@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram, where I'm also fiberartsamy. Bev, I want to send you this chart. Please, please get a hold of me so that I can mail this to you. But I need your address. So Ophelia, if you've been following the saga of Ophelia, nobody's ever claimed Ophelia. So Ophelia is going back in my stash to be given away some other day. But that's not going to be today because nobody ever claimed her. But Bev, if you will claim Snapdragon, give me your address. I will get her out in the mail to you. I have some other packages that need to be sent out as well that I'm kind of waiting on so I can go to the mailbox or to the post office just once and mail everything out. Pardon me while I reach to get something. I think, oh, I know what fell off the back of the chair. It was something I was going to show you. Okay, pause for 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the interruption. So one last stitchy thing. I wanted to do something to sort of celebrate reaching 1,000 subscribers, which was awesome. We had like a full week where my children were like tracking it. And they'd be like, Mom, you're at 998. And then it like went down to 996 and they were like, Mom, no, what'd you do? It was hilarious. Watching my kids get like so excited and like tracking how many subscribers they have. But it was fun. It was fun to get over 1,000 subscribers. So I want to do a giveaway to celebrate that. And I'm going to give away a copy of a chart that is one of my favorites that I have not done. It's an older one. I think it's still in print. This isn't like rare or anything. But this is Garden Beauty. It's MD 86. And I definitely have more copies of this chart than I need. I think she's stunning. She's got a few beads and one Krynic, but she's mostly DMC. I think she's lovely. Hard to focus on her. I think she's lovely. So if you want to win Garden Beauty, and again, please only enter this if you're going to follow up and give me your contact information if you win. I am going to limit to the US so I can package it safely and it won't be too terribly expensive to get this out. Again, because it's like, it's not rare. I don't want to spend more than what the chart is worth to mail it to somebody. So US only, please. You need to be an adult. You need to be at least 18 years old. You need to be willing to give me your mailing address. Don't say giveaway. Don't say win. No comments like that, like prized, anything like that. That's going to get trolls to come around. Use the word garden in your comment. If you want to win Garden Beauty, use the word garden. And I'll draw for this. Let's say I don't usually come back any more frequently than 2 weeks. What's today? Today's May 6th. I'm hoping to get this up today. I'm going to give you guys till May 15th. May 15th will be your last day to enter for Garden Beauty. Or the last day I'm going to guarantee that you will be able to enter. I will draw sometime after May 15th. So please put your comment in by May 15th if you want to win her. And again, use the word garden in your comment. You don't need to put it into a sentence. You can just like write garden if you want to. I should also mention, okay, comments are hard. So if I've seen a comment, I will heart it. Unless it's really mean and then I delete it. But very few of you have left mean comments. It's mostly wonderful, lovely people out there. But I will heart it. But I'm noticing sometimes that I don't seem to be notified of all the comments, because like I'll go into comment or to heart something and then I'll be like, wait a minute, there's others I didn't get notified about that are old that I never hearted. So I read all of them and my intention is to heart all of them. So please know if I've hearted it, like I've seen it. I don't always respond. At the beginning of my Flosstube life, I was responding to everything, but people are very nice. And well, like my birthday video, when people are wishing me happy birthday, and I felt like I just, like if I respond to everything, it's just gonna be thanks. And I felt kind of silly. And I don't know if I should be doing that or not. I don't know what like the social protocol is here. But if I heart it, it means I've seen it. And I try to leave like responses back to when I feel like I have something more like substantive to say to somebody. So like that heart is kind of like my thank you. Thank you for watching my video and for taking the time to comment. It's really fun reading the comments and seeing what people have to say. Anything else? I feel like I always end the stitchy part of the video and then I realize I had other things to say, but I don't think I do. So I'm going to show a little bit of knitting, very little bit of knitting and like quilting, sewing stuff. And then, I don't know, I'll be back whenever I'm back. I'm going to try to focus on those things I was talking about. And it'll probably be at least a couple weeks before I do another video. We have a really busy month just with the school year wrapping up. There's like a ton of activities and like weird things happening at school. I am working some. Anyway, if you don't want to see knitting and quilting stuff, you are free to go anytime. But now would be a good time to scoot out. I'm just going to talk about knitting and quilting. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. And those of you who want to stick around, I'm just going to show you 2 projects really quickly. I am still working on my son's shawl, the never-ending shawl. It's called Friday Nights. It's not that bad. It's actually really fun to stitch. It's just taking so long. I only have 2 pattern repeats left. So this is where I am, and I love it. I love this shawl. So these are like 1-stitch cables, or like 2-stitch cables. So they're just kind of twisted. I learned how to do that without the cable needle, which is really fun. No good way to show this. So it's getting long. So yeah, 2 more pattern repeats left. This stockinette and reverse stockinette section, so like from there to there is a pattern repeat. So I just got 2 more of those to go, and then the bind off, which is an I-cord bind off. That'll take a while, and I have to weave in my ends. I also need to ball up another skein of yarn because I'm almost out of one, but I really want to get this done. My son deserves to have a shawl. He is my last child who is still waiting for them. So yeah, working on that when I can. It lives here in my little stitchy area. And then the last thing I was going to show you is, if you've watched my videos, you've, I'm sure, heard me talk about English paper piecing. I'm kind of obsessed. I love English paper piecing. I have definitely reached the point where I realize how much I love handwork. Far more than sitting at the sewing machine. I still do and will sit at the sewing machine. I actually finished a quilt that I don't have to show you. I made a quilt top. It was super simple quilt top. So my Aunt Becky, I've talked about Aunt Becky in my Flosstubes. I'm stitching the apple butter block of, is it Houses of Hakron Hollow that one comes off of? Farms of Hakron Hollow. One of the Hakron Hollows has an apple butter block, and I'm stitching that for Aunt Becky. I've also made her a quilt top. It's at the Quilters, so I don't have it to show you right now. Hopefully I'll be able to show it when it comes back from the Quilter. When I gift a quilt, it's often like a simple quilt, but I don't want it to just be blocks sewn together. Like, usually, I want it to be like a little, like you could just take a layer cake, right? Like layer cakes are phenomenal. You can just take a layer cake and just sew a 6x7 grid of squares together, and you've got a quilt, and it's awesome. I usually try to do something like a little bit more than that for somebody. It depends on who I'm doing it for. But for Aunt Becky, I want to do something like a little bit more. So I had a layer cake, and I just did half square triangles. Like, I just sewed, you know, you can put 2 layer cake squares together, draw a line down the center, and draw a 1/4 inch on one, or sew a 1/4 inch on one side of the line and a 1/4 inch on the other side of the line, cut them apart, and you've got 2 half square triangle blocks. That's what I did. And then I just sewed them together with like all darks and, you know, top left and or top left and all lights and bottom right, and done. That's what I did. And I'll show it, like I said, when I get it back from the quilter. I'm just rambling. So that's a quilt that I made. So I do definitely will still sit at the sewing machine. Also, I've been working on, I don't have any good progress to show you because I haven't gotten very far, but I've been working on the Dresden quilt from Happy Little Stitch Shop. Let's just talk about Happy Little Stitch Shop for a few minutes. It's literally like happylittlestitchshop.com. So they have cross stitch and quilting. I love them. They're my new favorite shop. It's just a great place to shop. I really enjoy them. They have YouTubes. They do like live YouTubes, a couple of them every week. And like one of them's a Flosstube and one of them's a like quilting based one. They've been around for a little while, but they're new to me. Like I just discovered them in the last few weeks. And I love their videos. She shows, the woman whose name is escaping me, the woman who runs it, she will show like upcoming products and things, and on their website you can pre-order things. You can ask her to put stuff on her website for you to like pre-order. She does a lot of Lori Holt stuff, but I love the vibe of her channel. I find it very relaxing to watch. I will put that on and sew, like do English paper piecing while I'm watching her sewing video or her quilting videos. I really enjoy it. I'm not affiliated. I just love them. Like I've been looking for a quilt shop channel that can keep me informed about the fabric lines that are out there and like the products out there that I enjoy. Let's keep it there. Like a channel that I really enjoy watching while I'm getting all of that like good quilty information about what's going on in the world of quilting and like what product lines are coming out and that sort of thing. And I feel like Happy Little Stitch Shop is it. I will shop. I've now at the point where if I can get something from her, I do. She's become like my new go-to quilt shop to buy from. I love her. So you should check them out. I will try to remember to link it below. But something I've been doing kind of here and there in the evenings is an English paper piecing project. Say that 5 times fast. This is a project binder from Punky Pearls, which I'm going to drop. I have it so stuffed full. I love these things. I've shown them before. She's on Instagram and Etsy. On Etsy, it's punkypearls.etsy.com, and pearls is P-U-R-L, like, knit and purl. I love these project binders. So some people use them for cross stitch. I don't. But they have there's basically 4 project bags inside. 4 vinyl fronted project bags inside that all zip closed. So I use these for English paper piecing, and I have thread. So if you want to see how I've set up, I have thread in the first. These are all these are Lori Holt's Aurifil colors, or some of them, although I don't like Aurifil. I don't know if you've heard that rant from me before. I really don't like Aurifil thread. I think it's awful. It is the weakest thread that I've used. It's smooth, but it's weak. It breaks. No other thread that I've tried, and I've tried a lot of them, breaks the way that Aurifil does on me. There's a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of weak places in it. I'm not a fan of Aurifil, and you could absolutely make the argument that maybe I'm pulling too hard or something about how I'm doing it that is making the Aurifil break. That might be true. I might be harder on thread than you're like supposed to be, but every other thread brand holds up to whatever it is I'm doing. So it's only Aurifil that breaks on me, and it doesn't matter what weight I'm using, they all break. I do not like them. And like when I like there's like slubs that get stuck in there sometimes, or the equivalent of a slub, because it's cotton, so I don't know if it technically counts as a slub the way it does if it's linen. I'm not an Aurifil fan, but I do have some Aurifil, and I will use it and just growl through, but I'll only use it in like small bursts because it drives me nuts. Sorry, that's my Aurifil rant. These are just fabrics I've picked out to do a project that I want to do. And then in another section, I keep my supplies, like my paper templates for the English paper piecing, my glue pen. For this particular project, I need to use the liquid Sue Daily glue. These are Lori Holt needles. They're fine. They're not my favorite. I like the Tulip Big Eye number 10 needles. These are too long, in my opinion. And extra glue. I've got a thimble in there. And then in the back, I have a piece that is like in progress that I'm working on. They've been basted and I need to put together. Anyway, so somebody whose name is escaping me, I will try to link it below, a couple months ago, I think, started this dilly flower stitch along or quilt along. I don't know what you'd call it. So I started doing it, and I mean, this has been very enjoyable to just pick up here and there. So I just grabbed a layer cake that I had, and I don't know how many of these I'm gonna make. I'm basically gonna keep making them, I think, until I've used up the layer cake, and then put them together and see how much I have, see if I'm making a quilt or if I'm making a table topper or two, or placemats, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but they're a blast to make. In order to make them, so this is a English paper piecing task that I had not done before, if that makes sense. Got thread hanging everywhere. Okay, good, there's my needle. And make sure I didn't lose a needle. So in order to make these, and some of my glue has released, but in order to make these, you kind of do it like just like you're making a hexie flower. I've already pulled out the paper in the middle, where you sew all the petals to the center hexagon, and then you have to, that's what I'm in the process of doing, is sewing the petals together up here. And then once you have this, you basically, you use that liquid glue to applique it to the background. You have pieces like this that you have to sew together to make the background. So you make this background chunk, and then you glue the flower in place, and then use like an applique stitch all around the end, like you're doing needle turn applique, to sew it down. And I wanted to practice that some because I love English paper piecing, and there's different ways to do curves with English paper piecing, but I hadn't done curves before, and I have lots of projects in mind that require curves, so I wanted to get some practice. This has just been a fun little, kind of like the stitching equivalent of a small. Like, I don't have big lofty goals for it, but it's just been like a fun little something that I can pick up whenever the mood strikes. It's all set up, it's all in this lovely project bag and ready to go, and kind of make some progress whenever the mood strikes. So I think that's it. And I need to make sure to try not to say anything cross stitch related, because I already said that those people who are just here for the cross stitch could go. So yeah, it'll probably be at least 2 or 3 weeks until I come back, unless the mood strikes to do some sort of stash diving thing or stitch with me. I like the stitch with me's. I might do a stitch with me sometime in the next few weeks. But otherwise, it'll probably be at least 2 or 3 weeks before I come back. And I hope all of you enjoyed seeing my projects. I hope you all are getting some great stitchy time in. Whatever you are doing for May, I hope you're enjoying that too, no matter what it is, or even if it's, you know, no particular plans, just stitching as normal. I hope you enjoy your stitchy time, and I hopefully will see you guys soon. Bye.